So you came up in the '60s in London rock scene. Obviously there was a lot going on in those days for everybody. What brought you into it? What made you jump into it?
Very odd way to say it. I guess I'm a natural musician. It's in
Mm,
me. I had piano lessons when I was a kid from 5 till 11. Then I got a guitar, and of course the obsession started immediately. That's how it started,
mm.
and started learning the guitar and about music, and off we went on the life path, I suppose.
Was there something when that group got together that clicked for you that you knew was going to explode, or
No, people didn't like us. We weren't, we were came together in the middle of the raging punk scene in London, and it was very sort of like a religious, everything had to be, you had to be pure punk to succeed. It was sort of ridiculous, hair, clothes, and not being able to play really, so on and so forth. And that clearly wasn't us. We sort of had the look a bit, but I think we were a bit suspect. But we did have the music. The great thing about that was that we got the sort of punk gates were sort of shut to us, but it meant that we had to rehearse a great deal, which we did. And that's when it all started to come together, when we were locked in a little room and just practicing for days on end. And the police style came about.
Mhm. Yeah, not much jazz guitar influences in the punk scene, I would think at that time.
No, nothing like that. We
Yeah.
could play anything much. It sounds so snobby to say it because there was a great spirit and everyone was in it. But there were certain elements in it. There was sort of almost anti-music. It was it didn't last very long. It was only about 3 years in
Mm.
London. But I still remember the night we played at the Marquee when they were spitting on us and all this stuff, and it wasn't pleasant. Where the break came for us in that, it wasn't really called the punk scene so much in the US. It was called New Wave.
Mm.
And was a much better title for us because we came to play at CBGB's in New York, which was the whole downtown, where, if you were in the new so-called new wave scene, you came up. And that included like Television, Blondie, Talking Heads. And we got in there and we were absolutely ecstatic when we did our first two sets starting at midnight when we arrived in the US. Well, that's straight to New York. And we were off and running. That was the change.
Yeah. And then you've created so many, classic guitar riffs. Is there a particular Police song that still brings you joy to play today?
Well, I like all of them. I'm very proud of what we did in the Police because no one sounded like that. And we made all that on our own. And it was our own physicality, our own chemistry that made that my favorite. It's still Message in a Bottle.
Mhm.
I think there's many other ones too.
More recently, you've gone from playing, the biggest stages in the world to really focusing on intimate, small concerts.
Me
Like our,
personally,
yeah, like our stage
um,
here in Leesburg.
well, I'm doing a different kind of thing
Right.
altogether. I'm
Hmm.
playing to a screen. You can't get so big with it. I didn't want to overshoot the mark with something like this. This is not a rock show. It's more of a sort of multi-layered, well, I guess art show because I am on stage playing guitar. I'm talking quite a lot about stuff in my life and what's on the screen, and then I show the various um, so well, not selections, just sequences of photography, which I've been known for, and I've done pretty much parallel with everything else I've done on the guitar. Been very successful. I'm just about to leave and do a few more in September. So I've
Right.
enjoyed doing that. I did it in New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and now back to the States.
And what is that creative outlet of photography to you? I know you've been doing it, your whole career.
Well, I don't really like the term creative outlet. It sounds like
Mm,
some guy who's sitting around bored and needs a creative outlet. I don't
mm,
need that.
mm,
I started doing photography and I fell in love with it. I started in New York in the early days of the police, and I sort of went after it. This is something I can do, and I definitely had a thing for it, a knack for it, and I got hooked up somewhat with the New York photography art scene, and I found it very inspiring, and I went on from there, and I've never stopped. And so doing the solo show that I do, where I combine all this, it's the logical extension of all that. And I'm surprised. I started doing it about 2.5 years ago. I'm rather surprised that I didn't do it much earlier.
And the other thing about the festival that you're playing,
It's a
so
festival, isn't
the anchor for. So we have a festival,
it?
and it's really a showcase for our local music talent. And I didn't know if you had any, music business has changed so much. Do you have any advice for people coming up today in the music business?
Get out as fast as you can. Yeah, don't waste your time. Well, it's the perennial question. I often get asked for it because I've been in it, through it, had success and all that. But the scene is very different now. It's completely different. What we were trying to do was sell vinyl records,
Right.
and then CDs and then cassettes, all that stuff. Now you've got to get on YouTube. It's more demanding in a way, oddly, because I suppose you have to look good. You have to come up with some original video idea for YouTube, and that's it. The YouTube is going to sell your records more than anything else. One can't help but feel sort of nostalgic to the great old days when we had marvelous record stores and you could sift through the records and you could be a complete collector nerd and you could, it was a thing. That's obviously what I grew up with. The new approach is much, well, what's the right word? I was going to say colder, just going on and looking at stuff on TV, or on your phone. We're living in a different planet. I still buy CDs.
Mm.
Occasionally we go, you're buying CDs. My kids go, you got a CD. What are you going to use it for? An ashtray?
I did that too, and I finally gave up when the liner notes got so small I can't read them anymore. So
Yeah. Well, guess what? Yeah, I just got around to a pair of these. I never did that before.
yeah,
My eyesight's always been good, but now I do find that I can't read the fine print anymore.
yeah.
It's all bullshit anyway. Who wants to read the fine print?
I always look at my liner notes to see who's playing.
Yeah, I like liner notes. And as a kid, reading LP liner notes, read them over and over.
Right.
The magic was kind of there, because when I was 16, 17 and trying to learn all this stuff and all these great records were from America and you're reading about Los Angeles and New York, it was incredibly glamorous to me. And it was sort of a life goal to come to these
Mm.
cities in America and play in them. Yeah.
So who are you listening to today?
No one.
No one?
Well, it's not. Um, I have things that I've liked over the years of my life of listening, but nothing popular at all.
Yeah.
That's for sure. It's all very music for musicians kind of thing, So
Yeah.
I'm not checking in with the current scene,
Right.
as it were. I don't feel I need to. I feel like I did all that, and it doesn't seem that good to me anymore.
I appreciate it. Everybody's
Ah, that's very
will be
nice.
excited to see you when you come
Yeah,
to
looking
Tampa.
forward to it.
And
Yeah, looking forward to the performance. Great. Thank you very much.
thank
I'll
you
see
for your
you.
time. Very appreciated.